Good morning, folks. This is Anthony with livingtheend.com. Hey, so I don't have my little phone sticky thing. I left it in one of my other cars that is getting oil changed and stuff. So I just got the hand thing. So anyway, so just real quick, couple of things. One is already got the channel's not that old. There's only 3 videos on it right now that are not private. There's a whole bunch of them that are private. If you go to the Facebook group, you can get in and you see all those videos. But yeah, I had some guy come on and tell me that I was being a copycat because I wear sunglasses in all my videos. Well, first of all, that's not true because I don't. But second of all, and then the second thing is the people that this guy referenced, I could be their father. I've been wearing sunglasses my entire life because I have extremely sensitive eyes to the sun, and my sunglasses are prescription. The L.I.T.E brand, you can get prescriptions for them. So I have to drive with them. I can't go out in the sun. I live in Southern California, so it's very bright out there for me. So I'm not albino, obviously, but I do have extremely sensitive eyes to the sun. So that's why I wear sunglasses. Come on, Cookie. Yeah, the little tail that you see is Cookie. This is Cookie. Yeah, she has to be in my lap all the time. So anyway, so the title of this was Simple Sally and Detailed David. And the reason for that is because, let me tell you what happens when people try to manifest stuff. First of all, I'm going to start doing all the videos with kind of an introduction of who we are, okay? So that we can all know. If you go to the Bible and you see and you read in the Bible, there are umpteen places in the Bible where Jesus or God himself says, "Don't you know that God is within you?" And the challenge that we have is that we have been taught for thousands of years that God is an entity outside of us, which is not true. And I'll go into, I've had a couple of people ask me if I'm going to do a members channel, and I told them yes, I will. And so at some point I will, but I want to get a bunch more videos up before I do anything like that. But in that, I'll explain how that all works. And many of you have already heard me say that the Bible is the greatest human instruction manual that there is on self-improvement, on how to be the person that we really are inside already. I've been doing self-improvement. I thought it was over 30 years. It's actually over 40 years that I've been doing self-improvement. I've been doing it since my mid-20s. So that kind of gives you an idea how old I am. And so I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I've tried it all. I've experienced it all. From Emil QA's every day and every way I'm getting better and better, all the way up to Neville Goddard and beyond. And the one thing always comes and rings true and is repeatable is that there is a force within us that is eternal and that knows and has everything already. Lucy, stop. That one was Lucy. That's the mother-in-law's dog. And that force is within us. That's who we are, okay? So that you get an idea of exactly who we are, all right? Now, Simple Sally and Detailed David. These are real people. These are clients of mine. Now, only one of them actually identifies with that character that I gave them, the name that I gave them. The other one, I told him what I was doing, and he said, "Yeah, you can go ahead and use my name." He is detailed in a way, but not when it comes to designing his life as far as I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, and so just keep that in mind. But these people that we're going to talk about, they are real people. Okay, so first of all, it's extremely simple to do this because you've been doing it your whole life. You just don't realize it. And that's the issue that most people have. They don't realize that they have already been doing this their entire life. And then they once they do find out about it, they get all of a sudden there's a pinhole of a light that's shining on what this is all about. They get all excited about it, and then they say, "I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna do this thing." I get it all the time. Okay, Anthony, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna do it this time. Okay, great, but you're already doing it, whether you realize it or not. Now that's cookie now. And so we've got to get to the point to where we realize that we're doing this all the time and shift our thinking. Okay, shift the way that we're thinking about this whole entire game that we're playing, called the Game of Life. And there's a book of it. Florence Scovel Shinn has wrote that book years and years ago. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure she wrote it before Neville Goddard wrote any of his books. Anyway, so this is what happens. You go to a coach, they give you a bunch of affirmations. Most of the time it's about an SP. 90% of the people that are out there, if you broke down the topics that are out there, it's SP is number one by a long shot. And then comes money. Money and health are about in the same vein. And then down the line goes cars, houses, all that stuff. Okay. And so what happens is we get these coaches that tell us, you're going to do all these affirmations and stuff so that you can get your thing. You're going to do robotic affirmations so you can get your thing. You're going to do because affirmations so you can get your things. You're going to do ask affirmations so you can get your thing. Okay. And people ask me, do they work? Yeah, they work. They work. For a short time if you do it like that. If you go in with the premise of trying to get something. Okay. You have to change. You have to be the person that has that thing. All right. Now, I'm going to start off with Detailed David. Okay. Now, Detailed David, again, this is not this David that I'm talking about. This is another individual, and I could go to any coach's client list and pick out somebody, and they would be either a Detailed David or a Simple Sally. Okay. Detailed David, when you sit down with Detailed David, he wants to know everything. He wants to know how it works. He wants to know the social basis for it. He wants to know how geometry is inside of it. He wants to know if we're really living in a matrix. He wants to know all of this stuff. He wants to know absolutely everything, and he wants to read every single book there is on this stuff until he thinks he's got it absorbed and stuff, and then he starts trying to apply this, and usually in an affirmation type of way, and then he watches another video somewhere and stuff, and then he goes down another rabbit hole of courses and books and all sorts of stuff. Okay, that's Detailed David, and Detailed David always has to figure out the how. How is this going to come into my life? How am I going to get this? What do I need to do for this thing to work in my life? Okay? That's detailed David. And that's 70% of you. 70% of you need to know how it's going to work. But I don't understand, Anthony. How is it going to work? How am I going to get, my boyfriend away from this girl? How am I going to get, the type of money that I'm hoping I get? Okay? They're always trying to figure that out. Okay? It's not that. You figure out what you want. And by the way, the desire that you have is a desire that came from your higher self, which is God, infinite intelligence, the universe, the all, whatever word you want to use to define that infinite intelligence that's out there, that intelligent energy that's out there that created everything and that everything is made of, because you are that I am. You are that energy that's out there. Okay? Everything is connected. All right? So that desire that you now have didn't come out of thin air. That came from that intelligent energy. And that intelligent energy gave you that desire so that it could experience it. All right? So it wants you to have it. And it's a simple way to get it. And this is how Simple Sally did it. Now, when I went to this girl, her name is Sally. Her real name is Sally. And I told her, I said, Sally, I said, this is extremely simple. This is what I want you to do. And I could hear her writing as I was on this call with her. And I told her, I said, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to decide what it is that you want. Make a decision, make a choice. Okay? So you're going to decide what it is that you want. The next thing you're going to do, with inside that deciding what you want, is either write it down, put it in your phone, do something to create a scene or a story that would imply that it's already finished. This is all in one. This is all in number one. Okay? Decide. Number two is be. Now you're going to be the person within your imagination that would have that already. So the questions I always tell people to ask themselves: what would my day be like? How would I act? How would I walk? How would I wake up in the morning? Okay, what would be my daily pattern? If I was going to be that person? If I was going to be that person in that relationship, how would I act? What would my day be like? Okay, be that person. Be that person in your imagination. Live from that person within your imagination. All right? And then 3 is have. Now, this is where people stumble. Okay? They stumble along the whole thing, but this is where people really stumble. Because to have does not necessarily mean to have your desire. Yes, you'll get your desire. You'll have your desire if you follow 1 and 2. And especially number 2, if you be that person, the law, you've got to have it. It's coming your way. It's yours. Okay? It's already yours by the time you make that decision. The instant you make that decision, it's already yours. Okay? Live from that premise. However, this is what happens to most people. This is what happens to Detailed David. Detailed David kind of follows the first 2, okay? And it came quick enough that he didn't start to question the how. All right? So he got his desire, okay? He got the job that he wanted. All right? He saw himself as, in this job. He became this. But this is the thing that stumps most people once they get it. And they don't understand what happened. Okay? And this is what happened. You can't stop being. You have to continue to be that person that has that desire. The moment you stop and you revert back to the person that you used to have, all the other circumstances in your reality, the people, places, things, and circumstances in your reality have to show that back to you. Do you get it? They have to show that back to you, and they will. Okay? You cannot stop being the person that has this. Now, I have a client she can manifest whatever she wants. Okay? But this is the one stumbling block that she always runs into. She runs into this, well, I got to figure out how to get this. No, stop, time out. You don't have to do that. Remember, the how is not your job. The how belongs to infinite intelligence. Let the infinite intelligence figure out the how. It's going to do a much better job than you could ever possibly dream of. Let infinite intelligence take care of the how. Your job is to simply be, in your imagination, what you want to be. That's it. That's it. That's all. If something is contrary to your desire in the 3D, you acknowledge that it exists, but not in the reality that you're living in. It exists in another reality. Okay? It's just bleeding over. So your whole job is to simply be the person that would have that desire. And it doesn't matter what desire that is. It doesn't matter if it's a desire of you with a certain outfit or a house, a car, a relationship, a job, piano, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay? So here's what happened to David. Now, again, this didn't happen to this David, but it happened to another individual. His name was not David, but it happened to another individual. Okay? And so he got his desire. And then once he got his desire, and it was an SP, he started freaking out, thinking about what caused him to break up the first time. You all see where we're going with this, right? Okay. And guess what? Bingo. Everything fell apart. Absolutely everything fell apart. I could have written that on a chalkboard the first time we started having a conversation about his doubts. I could have wrote it on chalkboard verbatim of how that was going to go down. And that's exactly what happened. Okay? He was too busy trying to figure out, what do I need to do to keep this going? Here's what you need to do. You need to be the person in your imagination and continue to be that person. That's what you need to do. Don't do anything else. Don't. If it comes to the point to where you need to get romantic and stuff like that, you're going to get these impulses that are so strong you cannot resist them. And most of the time what's going to happen is you're going to do it before you even realized thinking about it. Okay? If you're living in that end, if you continue to live within that end. All right? If you don't, you're going to revert back to the version of you that had that breakup, and that's exactly what you're going to experience. Now, Simple Sally, on the other hand, I told her exactly what to do. Same thing I did with Detail David. I said, here's what you do. Decide what it is that you want, and you've already got that decision what you want, because it was given to you by infinite intelligence. That desire was given to you by infinite intelligence. Okay, now all your job is to do is to create a scene that will imply that you already have it, that you are already that person. Then you're going to be that person within your imagination. You can use affirmations, you can use scripting, you can use whatever you want. You're going to have internal conversations, all of that. Okay, be that person that has that desire. Okay, and I could hear her writing this down. And then lastly, have it. Once you get it, once it materializes, continue being that person that has it. And you'll start to see a growth pattern. You'll start to blossom into other areas. Okay? And continue to grow in a positive manner. Continue to think good thoughts. Have good thoughts of good rapport, just like Neville Goddard talks about. Okay? Stay with those. That's having it. That's growing it. Okay? There's a verse in the Bible. I'm going to butcher the verse. But in the Bible, there's a verse that says, those that have will be given more, and a lot more. Those that don't have what they do have will be taken away. Pay attention to that verse. To have is to be that person already. Be that person that has that desire that you have. Be that person in your imagination and watch it flourish in your life. Then have it. Once it materializes, once it manifests in your 3D world, in your physical world, have it and continue to have more of it. You got it, folks? Thanks for watching. And again, you've got this.